Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. Life can be a bit miserable. Life can definitely be a bit dark. So once again, we are here to give you a little bit of light and a little bit of joy. I'm Bradley. I'm slurping on his Costa because he's one of the good people. It's Stu. How you doing, Stu?
I'm not too bad. Yeah, no, talking of, like, things can be a bit dark. It's like 50 Shades of Grey out there, but without the sex. It's just, like, completely slaty. I'm sick of it because it's bloody August. But, you know, there you go. That's Britain for you, and that's climate change.
But it's not hot, Stu, so how can it be global warming? Because we can't use climate change when we're having an argument like with all this. It's got to be global warming because it's not actually hot.
Yeah.
So, come on, Stu, what's going on? What are you covering up, Stu?
Well,
on,
you know, obviously...
Where's the warming, Stu? Where's the warming? Come on, give me an answer,
Obviously, I'm
Stu.
part of, you know, some...
No, I just want an answer, Stu. Stop no.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I'm part of some big conspiracy, you know, obviously. Just I don't know how I'd benefit, but yeah, I'm benefiting in some way, lying about climate change, yeah.
How do you think about... I'm going for my right-wing grifter position, though. Did that sound good? Did that work?
Yeah, it was a bit too intelligent for a right-wing grifter, but, you know, I'll take it.
Yeah. You can grow concrete, Stu.
Just sure you can.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, but anyway, Costa, very, very quickly. Even if you're a Starbucks drinker, go and support Costa Coffee as a corporation. You know, we generally feel about corporations, but go support Costa because they're a very inclusive company, in all fairness, and they run on the side of one of their coffee vans or something, they basically showed a trans man illustration. So basically it's an illustration of a masculine looking figure, and they've got a couple of mastectomy scars where they've had top surgery. That's all it is, a couple of scars, Bermuda shorts, drinking a cup of coffee. And the turfy turfs have got very angry about it and have started a boycott Costa campaign. So if you're a decent human being in the UK, drink some Costa.
Oh, that's really cool to hear about them, especially as, like, I really like them. When I've been moving house, like when I've been going back to the old place, I've been popping into Costa to work from there, like because I can just hook up to the Wi-Fi and drink coffee, which is great.
Oh, they're one of the easiest Wi-Fi's to actually hook into. You don't actually have to register or anything like that.
Yeah, and the people there are dead lovely, and like they're dead lovely to all their regulars. Like there's groups of people who come in like every morning, and they're dead nice to them. And yeah, so excellent.
Yeah, we've got a cup. I live in Chelmsford at the moment. Hopefully not for probably about another year now. But anyway, that's another discussion. Not going into that. And we go to a couple of the Costas regularly, and yeah, they all know us there. But Chelmsford is the home of Costa. I don't think it was invented here, but there's about 500 Costas in Chelmsford. There was a news article about it once. There's like just so many. But yeah, their staff are good. They're all friendly. It's actually one of the decent chains out there. I actually prefer their coffee to Starbucks, that's for sure. Don't like Starbucks coffee. It's got a weird taste to it.
Yeah, I don't like Starbucks. It's gipping.
And I'm finding a lot of the independents are actually getting a bit too expensive for my liking as well. So, you know, I would love to support independents, but they're a little bit too, can't afford that, and you're a bit upmarket for me now. So, yeah, common Costa drinker, they're good people, support your Costa, boycott turfs.
Yep. And we all know you've got no class anyway, so, you know, that's fine. Yeah. No.
No.
To leap right in, what have you been playing this week, Bradley?
Whoa,
dear.
Stu, right, you've managed to jump in on me there. Right, I've not even segued yet.
I feel terrible.
And so you bloody well should. Because you know what else could be terrible, Stu?
What's that?
Video games,
hey,
Stu.
There it is. That was a pretty good segue in the end.
It was. We didn't even plan that because Stu did actually jump in and forget that I segue. I'll reprimand him after. It's fine.
Spank me, daddy. But yeah, go on.
What have I been playing?
Yeah.
I've been playing a game that I've never played before. The series I've never played before, but I was intrigued. Jagged Alliance. Jagged Alliance 3 to be precise, because apparently there was 2 more before this.
Who knew?
Which is a Yeah. I'm always shocked to find out there was previous when it's free in the title. If you're going to release a new game, you should release a new game with just like new game 4. Just like go from games there. There are 3 others of this. Like, no, it's the first one.
Yeah.
That definitely get you some attention. Anyway, and go backwards. Go backwards. So it's like a countdown to do a reverse order storyline and everything. There you go. There's an idea for game developers.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jagged Alliance 3. Nothing to do with any of that. It's a strategy. It's a real-time strategy stroke turn-based tactics game. So it's a bit XCOM-y in places when you battle. But then you've got an overworld. Or you try to go through these missions as there's an overworld you have to tactically go through by upgrading all your people, hiring new mercenaries and things like that. Then you go into the level and you move around freely with your group you've taken with you. And then you go into battle, and the battle is turn-based. So you've got 3 different things there that all work really, really well together. Now, I've always had... XCOM is one of those games where I like the idea of XCOM, but I've always struggled with the everything else apart from the turn-based tactics bit. The doing everything else has always just gone, and made my brain melt. And other games have tried this way of trying to make that more approachable. And I don't know about the previous Jagged Alliance games, but this one, in of itself, does it really, really well. So it's story-based missions and so on, and you kind of gives you an idea of, upgrade these sort of characters, or you need these sort of characters. You need like a medic, someone who's good with explosives, someone who could be good as a sniper, loads of sorts. So it all makes really good sense. The statistics, or the attributes, sorry. A big pet hate people who use statistics instead of attributes. Just point that out, sorry. Right. And I nearly did it. Attributes of each of your characters done really, really well, so it makes a lot of sense. So it's good for someone like me. It can be harsh in places, but doesn't overly punish you for making minor mistakes. So you can get out of situations really, really, really well. You can, if you need to, really overload characters to like make them almost like tanks. But what's really good is it's kind of like takes loads of different elements that feel real. So when you're, you know what it's like, shoot. You know when you're in combat in real life and you try to take the enemy base and everything. You've been there. You've been there. It's obviously, it's better to do it under the cover of darkness.
Of course.
So what this has got, it's got a running clock that's like a simulated real-time clock. So you might go from one mission to another, and you might finish one mission in the day, and you'll get to the other mission, it's still daytime, but you're like, oh, I really want to do this one at night. So you can like hold, pull back a bit, wait for it to get to nighttime, and then enter the mission, which gives you sort of better cover and stuff like that, but at the same time, gives the enemy those advantages as well. So they can sneak up on you in certain areas. So it really all blends together. It's quite a serious game overall in its overall story about... it's like this African area that's trying to be taken over by a warlord, but it's also tongue-in-cheek and keeps it light in places as well. The characters are pretty good. It's aware that some of its humour might be considered dated, but it addresses that. It actually addresses it going, look, some of the humour in here is crass, blah, blah, blah. It can be considered dated or problematic. Make of that what you will. It's a work of fiction based on a time. So it does give you a pre-warning about all this. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. I don't think I'm overly far in. But it's one of those I'm able to pick up, do a mission one day, leave it for a couple of days, jump back in a couple of days later, do another mission or two. And I'm just enjoying the balance between the 3 different styles of gameplay that work really, really well. And yeah, I'm tempted to go back and try the others if they've got decent ratings as well. And it works really well on the Steam Deck.
Wow, sounds like a sort of complete package then, really.
Yeah, really, really surprised. I don't know anything about the other ones. And it's a 40 quid game, so it's not AAA price. It should be AAA price in terms of 40 quid, but that's not AAA anymore, is it? Because we're 70 quid now is the main price for AAA games.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, it's not a AAA price by today's standards, but I still see 39.99, 40 quid and go, oh, that's a full game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But in saying that, it seems like a complete package. It doesn't feel like it's been prepped for microtransactions or DLC or anything like that. I've not noticed anything pushing anything down the line. It's just the whole experience feels like a complete package, and I'm all in for that.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's good when they do that. Accessible and complete, and it just sounds like it's been like properly had all the rough edges buffed off it and smoothed, and keep its character. And that's like, I think that's one of the hardest things, isn't it, these days to achieve with a game? Is just like retain the character but take all the sharp edges off and make it an enjoyable experience. That's really cool.
Yeah. Are you happy? I'm happy. I got a code for this. I'm not gonna lie. But I'd been happy spending 40 quid on this with what I got. Do you know what? I've got 40 quid's worth of experience out of this. Whereas I've played other games that would have cost 50, 60, 70 quid, and you look at it and you straight away, Christ, I'm going to have to spend another 50 to 100 quid in DLC or whatever to get the experience that is actually intended. So good on them. Who is it? It's Hayminont Games and THQ Nordic. Complete package, 40 quid. Fantastic game that I think is accessible for newcomers, but also has that balance for people who are returning to the series or like this sort of game. It's challenging for them as well. So brilliant. Really impressed by it. Out of nowhere for me. Give it a look if you're into that sort of game.
Nice.
What have you been playing, Stu?
Well, the first thing I've been playing, because I've played a couple of things, so I've expanded my roster. So the first thing I've been playing is, and I've played this before, is Front Mission on Steam this time. So you'll remember that I played it on the Switch a little while back, and had a sort of mixed experience with it. From a gameplay perspective, I had a lot of trouble with how dated it is.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like tactical RPG stuff from the last few years. I say the last couple of decades really, that it doesn't have, and it sensibly overlaid it with some modern, quality of life improvements and stuff, but not really enough, I felt. And the main criticisms I had were around, well, put it this way, it's all about mechs and where you get hit on the mech's body determining how crippled it is. So, if you're one that's got, a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher and a really big kind of gauntlet to punch things with, if they take out your gauntlet, obviously you've only got a long-range weapon and you have to like change your tactics accordingly. But if you can't target things individually and you go into, I'll go give him a melee, they take out your melee ability, and then you're like, okay, I'll take out their melee ability so that we'll both back off. But you can't target that specifically and it's random. Where's all your strategy gone? So there are issues.
Can I interject very, very quickly?
You may.
So just to go back to Jagged Alliance 3, that you can do on Jagged Alliance 3, sorry, I meant to say it in the tactical. You can target, there's no percentages. So, like in XCOM, there's percentages.
Yes.
And it goes, you got a 97% critical hit chance, blah, blah, blah. Right, so it doesn't give you any of that. So you kind of work it out. So a headshot, is going to be more difficult than a body shot, a torso shot. But if you shoot someone in the arm, for example, it will lower their chance of being able to do as much damage, lower their aiming opportunities. Same with you. If you take that sort of damage, it lowers your aiming stuff, and you might miss shots that you would otherwise get and stuff like that. And you aim at each individual part of the body. So I just wanted to put that in. I forgot that because it's very important. It works really, really well, which it doesn't do here by the sounds of it.
No, it's a game that's 30 years old at its core.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fair enough to it, really. I think it's really only designed for people who have a desire, who played it in the past and have a desire to return to it, which is fine. But, in terms of the PC version, absolutely runs great, runs perfectly on the Steam Deck, looks, as well as it possibly can. You can stick everything on like ultra settings, even on the deck, and it'll still pretty much hit 60. If you've got them anywhere even slightly under ultra, there's no way you can force it to lose its frame rate. Works perfectly, looks pretty, Yeah, pretty damn good, really. In terms of a port, it's much better than the Switch version, as you would probably expect. So it's a higher resolution, it's cleaner looking, has a better frame rate. It works perfectly on the Steam Deck. If you're into this and you want to play a game and kind of cast yourself back and make it feel like it's as good as it was when you were a kid, then going for it on PC is probably the way to go if you have the option. So yeah, as a conversion and a port, yeah, it's a really good one.
But it's not aged as well as it could have, kind of thing. I suppose that's that's the tough thing with remakes, isn't it? Is is it a remake?
Yes, it is a remake.
They called it a remake.
Yeah.
That makes it disappointing for me. They haven't added that other sort of like the things you said that are missing that you'd see in modern ones. Because if you look at like System Shock Remake, you look at Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake went way into a different direction, but they added things. And if this isn't adding some of those things, such as like individual limb targeting that you either get in Fallout, that's a bit of a shame. I will admit that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny candidate for a remake, really, because there's so many things that have superseded it. Like if you did a remake of like Mario 64, you'd be like having trouble getting used to the controls. But once you did, you'd be like, no, they don't need changing. They're just unique to this game.
Yeah.
Whereas this has got loads of features that you will miss. Anyway, I think that's all that needs to be said on it, really. But it's good. It's good enough. If you've played it before and you liked it, you'll like it now.
Now I'm thinking Mario 64 in the Mario Odyssey engine.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's coming. It's got to be, hasn't it?
Come on, Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo are lazy with that stuff, so probably not.
Well, true.
Probably not. So, moving on from turn-based strategy to mechs, what about a very, very short but impressive top-down tower defense game that's also kind of real-time attacking?
Oh, is this...
And a city builder. Thronefall, yes.
Hey.
So this was kind of a bit of a surprise darling in the Steam Next Fest, and it deserved it because I thought it was a very interesting game where you kind of have your spots where you build all your bits, you increase your village, your settlements, and you get more money coming in, which allows you to upgrade further, get more defences, get more attacking units, etc, etc, etc. And there's your city building side of it, but you're getting attacked from different areas and different lanes to go and attack your central building. So there's your tower defense side of it, but you have to balance it all in certain ways. So you get your strategy side of it, but you can also do all your attacking in real time. So you go around, you've got special moves. You can go and like take out stragglers while you send other units to do other bits, and you can do all that. And it's just released into early access. And I played the demo. I now played early access, which there's now 4 playable levels. I think there was like 2 in the demo. Well, I played 2 anyway. 4 playable levels. It takes I think I've played maybe 4 hours so far and finished it. On one account, I'm gonna start again on my own account. And yeah, it's just really good. Like it's got a decent UI, so they've improved the UI from the original one. So you've got an increased like UI size in places as well, which is great for the Steam Deck. Perfect game for the Steam Deck, by the way. But the idea is sort of like you go right, what do I need to get through these early levels? Do I place and get money in? Do I worry about defending to start with? Do I need to get gates up, walls up? Do I need to get like towers in to sort of do distance damage, or do I want units? You've got to balance all the money that's coming in, and it works really well. There's so many different layers to it that I've been through like a single level. I went through a couple of times trying the different tactics and things like that, and you can approach it really in any way you want. And I've seen some complaints of people going, "Oh, it's so short, but it costs like £5 as well." And I often find and I don't know if you found this with tower defense games, you kind of get through the first 5-6 levels and then they just get stupid, and you're like, it's just the same thing, but you're throwing more and more at me. And you're just trying to make it as impossible as possible, so the fun goes out of it.
Yeah.
And I've always thought these games would benefit from being quite short. And yeah, this is short. As it stands, I don't know if they're going to add more levels. Maybe they will. But as it stands, it gets more difficult, up to 4 levels, but it's all manageable. It's difficult. I said, it is difficult, and you will not just go through each level like instantly, unless you're really good at this stuff. So you've got to think, you can experiment, you can go through it in different ways. And it's a great one to, if you go into not boycott Costa, you're going to go and sit in your Costa, and you're like, do you know what? I've got 10 minutes to spare. Boot up Thronefall, defend your base, and yeah, you've had a good time with a coffee.
Yeah.
And spent less than a tenner. There you go.
Good point. Yeah, no, I'll shock you now. I've actually really been considering buying this game, even though they're not my kind of games, because it just looks so good and so much fun. I'm really teetering on the verge of getting it.
Oh, I definitely would. I definitely would. It's yeah. I mean, again, I'm looking at, it's it's £6 usually. It's on sale until the 9th of August for like £5.30. So it's got a 10% off launch price. Again, I'm all for this launch price discounts. Everyone should be doing it because you reward your early adopters. But do you know what? You play a 5, you play it for a couple of hours, you've done most of the game. Even if you don't get on with it, it's, in video game terms, what's a £5?
Precisely. No, it's crazy money when you think about it. It's crazy money. Like, it's nothing for that kind of effort. But yeah, no, it looks lovely. I'm very tempted. I think I might get it.
It's so cutesy as well. It's kind of got an aesthetic where you could tell that if you were zoomed right in, it'd be a proper cutesy little looking game. But because it's zoomed out, it kind of leaves something to the imagination as well. It's just so, it's weird. I can't describe like the aesthetic of it, how it works. It's like semi-cell shaded in places, and it's like low polygon in places almost, but also cartoony. And yeah, it's just a lovely overall minimalistic city builder tower defense. And yeah, someone should mod tower defense into City Skylines 2 when that comes out.
Yeah, that would be clever. Yeah.
But yeah, really good. £5, get it, play it, enjoy it. It's in early access. There might be more added to it. But 4 levels for a £5 sounds like it's not an insult. It's balanced so well. I want a bit more, but I don't feel I'm being shortchanged by not having a bit more. But because it's early access, who knows? There might be a bit more. But yeah, get Thronefall. It's brilliant for a £5.
I think I might have to. This is going to be quite a heavy month, but I think I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah, it's a shame it's not a £5 for like 80 hours worth to keep you really going. It's you could do it in an afternoon. That's the only thing I would say. If you really hammered it, you could do it in an afternoon.
Yeah, I like that. I like
between
it.
calls. Yeah. I do, but you can drag it out, and that's what I like about it as well. You can drag it out. So moving on from Falling of Thrones. Yeah, that'll do. What other game you've been playing? Words.
Those things. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I've been playing a game called Triple Take, which is a platform game, ostensibly at least. Well, yeah, pretty much all the way through. It's a platform game. And it's a bit of a quirky one. So it's very indie. It's black and white. It looks a bit like Vib Ribbon in that kind of style. So, bang up to date. So it looks like it could run on, a VIC-20. It's that far back. It's kind of, really basic looking. Yeah. Everything's made out of just, really straight lines.
It's like Vib Ribbon and Fez had a baby.
Yeah, kinda. More, I mean, what it is it's like Super Meat Boy, really. It's throw yourself at these incredibly challenging levels and navigate your way through. It's got a very minor quirk, which is in the title, but it isn't as quirky as I don't think that it thinks it is, which is that it goes, right, take 1 and you play the level through, and then it goes take 2 and you play the level through again, but with the geometry slightly changed, and sometimes significantly changed, and then you do a take 3, which is very changed, but it's just kind of raising the difficulty level. So, I mean, it's like basically every Mario game, but instead of you choosing the more difficult path, it forces you down the more difficult path second time around. Absolutely fine, but not as quirky as it really thinks it is. But how does it play? Well, it's got that thing, and I can't really remember with Super Meat Boy if you could do this, but it's very much not about kind of restricting your inertia. So to explain, it's sort of, you can press to jump, and you can press and hold for the how high you jump, and you press left and right to move, but you can also change totally your directions. It's almost like moving a cursor rather than moving a character with any real weight.
Yeah, you can do that in Meat Boy.
So it's very much, I thought it was, I haven't played Meat Boy since it came out, for reasons which will suddenly become apparent, because I don't really like this kind of platform game very much. It doesn't feel like a platform game. It doesn't have that, what I would classically think of as that risk reward of, if you keep your momentum going and you're quite precise and accurate, and you get a sense for how far your character jumps and how many pixels they will cover when they land, like after a short time, and in the case of Nintendo, after like 30 seconds, because they're amazing, just to buff their car a little bit. But you kind of like, you get that sense of it. So your initial exploration is kind of just getting the sense of it, and then after a while you're a god at it, because you can just understand instinctually how far you can go, how high you can go, what tricks you can pull off. I never really get that with these kind of games, because they're so variable. There's so many variations in how you move the character around, that it's more a kind of trial and error. It's more a kind of paying attention to every single obstacle on the screen and everything that's coming from you off screen, coming at you from off screen. And it's really good. It's a great idea. It's a brilliant system. It's just a system I don't connect with very well. So I'm not criticising the game. As a game, it's really, really good. And if you like...
It looks tightly made,
yes.
which is what you want in these sort of games, where, you're turning around going, it's not my sort of game, I don't particularly get on with these. But if you are able to appreciate how well it's made and what it's actually doing, it does its stuff well, it shows that it's a good quality game, regardless of your thoughts on the genre.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's a really good game. So, I mean, the other difference that it has is, and I'll do two sets of spoilers. I'll do a minor spoiler, and then I'll do like a, not full spoiler, but a more comprehensive kind of thing, because it's important to have it in the background for reasons you'll understand in a second. So a minor spoiler is there's a meta game to it, okay? So there's a meta game, which is quite clever. So if you want something that has something quite unique to it, not 100% unique, but some clever ideas in that kind of meta way, then it's worth exploring because of that. Okay? So I'll mark these in the show notes so that people know the times. The bigger spoiler is, just before we get that, you can't play this on the Steam Deck because of that quirk. Okay?
Okay.
Now, for the bigger spoiler, okay, so spoilers here. If you don't really want to know what's at the core of this game, then don't listen to this. So you can't play it on the Steam Deck because it has a system in Windows where there's a meta thing where a third party crashes the game and crashes into it. And you get old-fashioned Windows 95 pop-up boxes where you can only click OK. But it's a narrator saying that they're interrupting the game, that your life is being controlled. It's very sort of Stanley Parable. It's very Metal Gear Solid. Very much of that. You know you're in a game. It's breaking into it, breaking into reality. And it says, like the first one, it goes, what happens is your character gets stuck in a level and you can't move and complete it. And this narrator breaks in and goes, you have to move a file around. So you have to actually go onto your computer and move a file. Like, you actually have to do it. It's put a file in a folder for you, and you have to move it into the folder that it specifies and designates, otherwise you can't continue the game.
Wow.
Yeah, very clever. But you cannot play it on the Steam Deck because none of the relationships of what they're telling you work on the Steam Deck. So, and I guess probably across Linux. Now, there might be a way around it, but, functionally that would be totally destroying the point of the game.
It also makes it, you probably could, but I'd imagine it's the biggest ball ache possible to do it.
At that point, it would cease being a game, really. You know, I mean, it's stretching being a game when you have to fix a problem outside of it, you know, but in a clever way that a lot of people will connect with.
Haven't Bethesda been doing that for years?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's a good and decent quirk. So I'll end the spoilers there. So, you know, back to non-spoilers. Very good platform game with its own.
I can't believe the butler did it.
I know,
Can't
right?
believe. No.
God, after all these years, still using that old trope. But yeah, so if you like platform games of the Meat Boy type and Celeste, that difficulty level, then it would be for you. If not, then don't. But it's a good game. It's a very good game.
I'm not going to touch. I mean, you can edit it out if I go too spoilery. But I like it when games or creators try something like that. They tried what is essentially a very basic platforming concept to then add something to it that tries to make it stand out. So you've gone weird to try and make it stand out is great. The only issue I've kind of got with that now is there are plenty of games that try and do that sort of thing. So whether it's like Undertale or Doki Doki Literature Club and stuff like that, that have all got their own unique takes on doing certain things and try and be meta. Super Hot was another one that had this whole meta thing to it that's no longer stands out, which is a shame because this probably means this hasn't got maybe the attention it might have got 5-6 years ago. But again, it's a $5, Stu, so give it a go. If you've got a Windows PC, I suppose, give it a go.
Yep, I would say it's good enough for that. If you like those sorts of games, go for it, definitely.
Excellent. Right, one more from me. Lots of games this week. Yeah. I forgot how often we record then. Lots of games this week. So, one game I played in the Steam Next Fest that I really, really wanted after like my first couple of minutes with it was Venba, which is a narrative cooking game. You've got a player. You play as a lady who moves over to Canada from India with a partner. They've emigrated. I think it was like in the 80s they emigrated. They end up having a child there. And it all becomes relevant, etc., etc. And you get to hear their story through her experiences. But it does it by giving you like this narrative, like almost like a visual novel in a way. But then intersects all that with cooking mini games, but not mini game. When you hear mini games, don't worry. I'm not talking like a collection of crappy mini games. It's like you have to cook meals, and like traditional Indian meals and things like that. And what you get with those, the meals tell a story of dealing with things like such as racism, like you know how like Indian people are looked at when they emigrate, or they emigrate somewhere, and how like their child who was born in Canada is dealing with his differences to be brought up in an Indian family but in a Canadian social space, and the parents growing apart from their child and the difficulties they have with all things like that. And it's just a lovely, lovely story, and it's just an amazing way to learn about different cultures and so on and so forth, and learn what are some really lovely looking meals. And giving you like that. It's not a full on teaching you how to cook, but it gives you an insight into what goes into these meals and how they're cooked, and how you might need to prepare some fish, or there's one like the early one is like this steamed rice type meal, like steamed buns but using rice type thing that you have to do. And there's a lot of these like special cooking instruments and things like that you need, but it teaches you like about the preparation and the presentation and all of that's leaked in. And I started playing it with Edith, and she absolutely loved it. She was reading the story, and we was playing it together, and I was doing like the cooking sections and so on and so forth. And it's not just a happy game. It's really well like presented. It looks like it's going to be this happy game full of yes, Venba, Edith, loads of little cooking stuff with bits thrown in, but it's quite emotional. It really does get emotional, and yeah, it's it's not the best game. Okay, so I'm not going to say it's the best game of the year, but it's a hard hitting game. It hit me in certain places that other games just can't, and its pacing can be an issue. Like there's sometimes where there's quite a big gap between cooking one item and then you've got quite a lot of story, and you're like, I do want to cook again. I just want to do some more cooking because I really like the cooking, and this bit of the story's dragging on, so the pacing is a bit of an issue, but I get why they've done it how they've done it, but it hits you in certain areas. It's really well told story. It doesn't do any sugarcoating, pun not intended there. As you learn more about the family, it doesn't go for this immediate, and they all lived happily ever after, but it doesn't look like it's trying to go for, and then it all just went terrible or anything. It just feels real. And yeah, it's fantastic. Absolutely sublime as a one-off experience. And I say that because I hope it's one and done, because again, not everything needs a sequel, and this is just a perfect little package in what it is, and yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, another one that I've been looking at, I've been eyeing up and thinking about, and then maybe stealing the recipes from as well. But it does look really good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As good as the food looks, definitely. But anyway, moving on, just very, very quickly, okay, because we've dragged on this week, Stu. Bloody hell. Right, so this week, we've come to the end of the group stages at the World Cup, the Women's World Cup. Two things I want to touch on. One, lots of the big teams have been knocked out. Germany are out, Canada are out, Italy are out now. Brazil got knocked out by Jamaica in the group stages. Amazing. The gap between the top and the bottom teams is shrinking, and that's only good. What's also been quite interesting to see is the reaction in the States that they're not performing as well as they have done, and the people in the States are basically losing their shit over it. The US women were happily laughing and joking and having fun after they found out they qualified with a lucky 0-0 draw against Portugal, saved only by the post, and they've been criticised for being happy they've qualified because that's not good enough. Americans, you can't be the best at everything forever. Sometimes everyone's going to catch up. Enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment. Won't surprise you to hear that most of the arguments were happening on Fox. So make of that what you will. And then they've been having a go at Megan Rapinoe because of all the stuff she does outside of football. Maybe she should concentrate on football. Blah. Suck it. It's been a great World Cup. It's great to see the smaller nations doing well. It's great to see America sucking, in all fairness, because it's about time. Germany being out's a shame because I like Germany. I like their kits. And yeah, it's been great. Inspirational to the kids. Goalkeepers matter. Buy false like to sell Mary Earp shirt. That's it from me. I'll shut up now.
Nice. Well, no, just one very quick question on that. Are England still in it?
Yeah. They won all three of their games, but have not been wholly convincing the whole time. It's anyone's World Cup. It really is. England's still in it. They should be the favourites, but honestly, I look at it and go, I don't know who's going to win this World Cup. It could be anyone this year for the first time ever.
When do England next play?
Monday morning. So by the time you've listened to this, if you listen to it on a weekend like you should be doing, England play 8 a.m. Monday morning against Nigeria.
Nice. Cool. Excellent. Well, that's a lot packed into one comparatively short burst of a podcast. But yeah, plenty of content. That's what the people like, isn't it? The content. But yeah. So, as usual, hope you all have a good week to come. Follow us on all the socials. Make sure you check out all of our content on the website and on YouTube. Join us on Discord. And other than that, stay safe and stay sane.